You are now tuned into the Boxing Bros. I am Caden. As you know, this is G Block and this always G Day. I'm here with my co-host.
LLG. You already know what it is. It's Commissioner Trill Dollar Bill. What's up, baby?
All right, so the first topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is who is the face of Puerto Rican boxing. As you know, today's the Puerto Rican Day Parade out in New York, and Xander Zayas got a W last night, beating Patrick Teixeira, which is a solid victory because Patrick Teixeira has a win over Carlos, who's the champion at 160 currently. So, Trill Dollar Bill, there are a few people floating around that come to mind. There's Xander Zayas, there's Edgar Berlanga, there's Subriel Matias, there's Oscar Collazo. Those are the four main people being pushed, but maybe you have someone else in mind. To you, when it comes to Puerto Rican boxing, who is the face of Puerto Rican boxing?
The face?
Yeah.
The face gotta be Tito.
Come on, you know, Tito. Currently, man, we know the legends, man. I'm talking about currently.
Because I was gonna go Cotto next.
Cotto was Tito's one. Then Cotto took the mantle, but now we've been waiting for another Puerto Rican boxer to step forward and pick up where Cotto left it off at. And I want. Do you see any of these guys being the face? Do you see any of these guys taking over and becoming that star?
Here's the thing. Xander Zayas is. I hope this don't come off wrong, but to me, Xander Zayas, I like him. I like him a lot, and I think he's Puerto Rico's sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? But the guy gotta be Subriel Matias. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Matias, I think he's the guy that he already got a belt. He's not looking for a shot at a belt. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been prospect for like 5 years. Everybody, like I said, you can't say nothing bad about Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? Can't say nothing bad about him. That's everybody's sweet. That's Puerto Rico's sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? To me, he's a star. He's a star, but he hasn't gotten that chance yet. And since he hasn't gotten that chance yet, the man right now is the boogeyman, the one that everybody's afraid of. Subriel. Hope I'm saying the name right. You know what I'm saying?
Subriel.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's, to me, when I seen him, I said, oh, no, they got a problem. And he is the problem, man, and nobody want to get in the ring and try to solve it. So, you know what I mean? So right now, he's the guy. But shout out to Xander. He's definitely my guy. And the rest of the guys, they got some work to do.
Yeah, so I'll start off with Oscar Collazo, minimum weight champion, WBO minimum weight champion. He just had a good solid victory over Zepeda this weekend. I think he's a good fighter. He's exciting to watch, especially at the lower weight classes. I know, Trill, you like the little fighters, and he has some power with him. He has a lot of knockouts, especially at that size, and his fights are very entertaining. So I think he does put on for Puerto Rico. And you got Edgar Berlanga. I think Edgar Berlanga had the hype when he had the 16 first-round knockouts in a row. He got the co-sign from Fat Joe. But as he moved up in competition, he started to underwhelm with his performances and even losing his cool, biting someone in the ring, which people don't want to see that. He also is chinny. We've seen him get dropped in the ring against guys we don't consider to be the most powerful punchers or the most skilled. So I think he became more of a question mark. So to me, that leaves two. And Danny Garcia, to me, never really resonated with the Puerto Rican fans, and he's past his prime. Some people consider Danny Garcia retired right now. So, I mean, at this point, he might be retired. We don't know if he has any intentions on coming back.
He's a fighter in recess.
It's a long recess. But yeah, so that leaves Xander Zayas and that leaves Subriel Matias. So if we're talking about skill, I think Xander Zayas has the most skilled. I think he passes the eye test. He's very talented, and he's the guy you say, I can't wait to see him get in there with some of the best in the sport of boxing. But who do I think is the face? I'm with you, Dollar Bill. I got to go with Subriel Matias for this reason. One, Subriel Matias embodies the spirit of the Puerto Rican people. Subriel Matias, he has penetrated the culture of the Puerto Rican fans. Like, it almost reminds me of the battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. One guy's a pop star, the other guy's a hip hop artist, and just understands the culture better. To me, it's the culture, the island of Puerto Rico. They vibe with Subriel. They feel Subriel. And people try to downplay Subriel's importance. They say, oh, he doesn't bring nothing to the table. But every time, and you've seen this, bro, this started back with G. Do a video on Subriel, it get numbers. So people acting like Subriel doesn't have a base, and Subriel, his videos get better numbers than Haney's videos. Which reminds me, a lot of people were telling me that I was overrating Subriel when I was saying he might get Haney. Where them Haney guys at right now? But anyways, to answer the question, I think it is Subriel because he gets the buzz. People come to see him. Subriel is headlining on June 15th in Puerto Rico. That's another major statement, bro. He's headlining in Puerto Rico right now on June 15th in a fight that's going on the same date as Gervonta Tank Davis. So you gotta put some respect on Subriel's name. So for me, the face of Puerto Rican boxing right now is Subriel Matias. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros. Do you think Xander Zayas can beat any of the champions at 154 pounds? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a list of the current champions, and we're going to decide whether or not you think that Xander Zayas could beat him. Of course, he beat the former champion, Patrick Teixeira, last night. But here's a list of some of the people. So we have here you see Sebastian Fundora has the WBC world title and the WBO world title, although he's going to vacate the WBO world title because he doesn't want to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Bud Crawford is fighting Israel Madrimov. And so we'll see who wins that fight. And then there's the IBF world title. We tried to get this name before, Brakram Montezerelev. Someone's going to be like, oh, you pronounced it wrong. I did my best. I'm not intentionally messing up this person's name. So anyway, Trill, Dollar Bill, any of these names with an actual recognized title that you think Xander Zayas can beat? And I left out Jamel Charlo, who apparently still has the WBA Super World title.
I'm looking at these.
Hold on, let me get this out the way. Here you go.
I'm looking at all right, there's no doubt in my mind that Xander Zayas is a talented fighter. But he's not given the opportunities. And people are not rushing to fight him. Like, I know he called out Erison Lubin, and Lubin was like, yeah, right, in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? He's already ranked higher than him. There's the kid, like you said, for Uzbekistan. They got the WBA. Like you said, Fundora had the WBC and WBO, but that WBO is going to be vacant. Said that IBF is vacant as well as the IBO is vacant. So he could try to go for one of these vacant belts, try to go for the IBO, even though that's not a real, but they'll lead to something. And then, the IBF is vacant as well.
No, the IBF interim, meaning mandatory status, but the IBF is held by Bakaram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
IBF champion.
he wasn't on my list. He's not even ranked top. Oh, actually, he is. He is right. He's
Yeah.
actually ranked 10th. You're absolutely right, my brother. He
Yeah.
does have the IBF belt. Yeah, I think he should go after the Russian. I think he should go after the Russian and grab that IBF belt off of him. Because everybody else got dates and everything that they're doing. You know, if he can get in there with the guy from Russia or the guy from Uzbekistan, I think that could be, those are the fights that can be made. I know that those fights that could be made. The Fondora fight, I don't think that fight can be made with other obligations and being on the other side of the street.
Yeah, Israel Madrimov is fighting Terrence Crawford in August.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, so he's tied up. So yeah, there's only one that's left is available is the vacant IBO belt and going there and fighting the guy from Russia because everybody else is tied up.
So one, he doesn't necessarily need to go for a title. I think, as you can see, according to BoxRec, Virgil Ortiz is ranked #1 as the best fighter in the division. So if you can get Xander Zayas versus Virgil Ortiz, well, now we're talking about Puerto Rico versus Mexico, and we're talking about a hell of a fight. But in terms of getting Xander Zayas a title, I think you're right. If he can get the IBF, a shot at the IBF from Backroom, I think that will go a long way for him. I think he has a good chance of winning that fight. I think even if he fought Jamel Charlo, that's a solid fight for him. That's a good step-up fight. I think he has a good chance of beating Jamel Charlo. I think Jamel Charlo has seen better days. And I don't know how much love and passion he really has for the sport. I think he's trying to get paydays now. We'll see what happens with Israel versus Terrence Crawford, but I'm gonna roll with Crawford on that one. So this guy only has 10 fights, I believe, anyway, about 10 fights. So he's a solid fighter, but I don't think he has enough experience. And Crawford is the real deal. So I see Crawford beating him. Sebastian Fundora and Earl Spence are going to fight each other. So most likely the WBO is going to become vacant because Sebastian Fundora isn't going to fight Terrence Bud Crawford, in which case they're probably just going to swing it to Bud. So, yeah, I think the IBF title is his best shot at becoming champion. But if he can't get a shot at the IBF, then, of course, Virgil Ortiz is out there. But if you can't make the Virgil Ortiz fight, Trill Dollar Bill, I'm with you because the IBO, although it's not an actual recognized belt in terms of you becoming undisputed, it does sound better than the NABA, NABF, which is what they currently say when they announce Xander Zayas. And to me, at this point in the game, he's too good, too talented, too skilled to be known as the NABA champion. So IBO would still be a step up from where he is right now. And I'll just close by saying this. Subriel Matias couldn't get a fight with Devin Haney, couldn't get a fight with Teofimo López. They try to make it seem like, oh, he's a punching bag, he's boring, he's easy to beat. Well, then go beat him then. And now you got Xander Zayas can't get a fight. He's calling out names, trying to get fighters in the ring, and he can't get a fight. Are you guys running from Puerto Rico? That's what I want to know. The Puerto Rican fighters can't get the fights that they need. Okay, stop running from Puerto Rico. Get in the ring and let's see what's up. All right. One critique though before you take us out, Trill. Xander Zayas, I think he did great against Texera. My only critique is he loads up on punches too much. Like you can tell he's really trying to get someone out of there. And I think he would do a lot better if he was just fast and fluid with his combinations and then loaded up at the right times when the openings are there. Because what happens is they never let their guard down because he's always welling on them extremely high, which they shell up, which is fine. But if you want to knock someone out, you want them to open up so that you can land the clean knockout punch. And I think he just keeps them in defense mode most of the time, particularly the level of competition he's been facing. So that's just my critique on that. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is, should Naoya Inoue fight Shu Shu Carrington next? So Naoya Inoue pulled up in New York. They said that he did a little shopping, and then he came to the fight. So this is Naoya Inoue at the fight. Michael Benson wrote, Naoya Inoue ringside in New York to watch American future featherweight opponent Bruce Shu Shu Carrington move to 12-0 overnight. Carrington bowed to Inoue after his win, and Inoue waved back, then left after the fight, opted not to stay to watch the main event. So you see here, they're saying this is when Shu Shu bowed, and this is where Inoue waved. He's saying like the fight is official. I haven't heard an official announcement of the fight, but I mean, maybe you have Dollar Bill. My question is, should Inoue fight Shu Shu Carrington next? Do you think Shu Shu Carrington is ready to take on Inoue? Dollar Bill, what's your thoughts on this?
Shu Shu is very talented. He's a very talented young fighter. No, he's not ready. I'm just gonna stop with the bull crap. He's not ready. It's not time. I don't know what his handlers and what people were thinking. This is not a good look. It's not a good test. They're gonna damage this young man before he even starts. It's gonna remind me of the Costa Zoo and Zab Judah fight when Zab got clipped in the second round. This is gonna be bad. I don't, and you can damage this fighter. Don't smile, bro. I see you smiling. Yeah, this is yeah. I don't want to see it. Another New York fighter. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna happen too. And this is no. I don't want to see it. And I see it happening in devastating fashion too. It's definitely gonna happen by knockout. The kid needs some time. It's different. Like he's a 12-0 from here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the European guys when you see their record is 12-0. That means because they only counting their record once they got here. These guys been fighting their whole life, and they don't count their what's that? The world? What's the name?
The World Series of Boxing. Yeah,
they don't count that as these. Some of these guys got 45 fights in there. And then they come here and only got 6 fights. That's why you see some of these guys. And you be like, oh, he's only 6-0 and he's going for the title. That's because he's been fighting over there where they wasn't.
Yeah, like Usyk, Joe Joyce. They fought each other before in the World Series of Boxing.
Exactly. Like Lomachenko, he done had losses before over there, but they don't count those. But he had many of other fights, but they don't count those. Like a lot of Better Be. You know what I'm saying? He had fights. Yeah. He had fights over there. That's why y'all look at their record here. You're like, oh, he only got 16 and he's doing all this. That's because they don't count their record. But Shu Shu is different. He's from over here and he only got 12 fights. He needs more. I think he needs to be like 32-0 before he fights Inoue because the skill level is different. He's still doing amateur stuff that Inoue will touch him, you know, and why damage this kid? You know what I'm saying? He got a bright future. He can be champion, you know. Inoue is already undisputed in many weight classes. Like, just leave him alone. It's his own path. You know what I'm saying? Like, get him while he's on his way out because you're still young and you got time to grow. So I'm like, no. And this ain't about no ducking, no smoke, and nothing. It's about being ready and having and being prepared for the biggest task ever. And that's the monster anyway.
Yeah, so you touched on something that I brought up a while ago, but people kind of downplayed it. But I do think it is of significant importance. If you look at Usyk, for example, and you look at Vasily Lomachenko, they're older fighters who were amateur with an extensive amateur pedigree, and then they turn professional. And you take a guy like Anthony Joshua, you take a guy like Deontay Wilder, they got into the sports in their late teens. Due to their athleticism and punching power, they were moved along much faster than Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk. So although they have the punching power, they never had the opportunity to perfect their craft. And in Wilder's case, he was never really going to have the ability to perfect the craft. I mean, let's be honest. But in the case of an Anthony Joshua, if you look at it, because of his athleticism, because of his punching ability, he was moved along quickly. He became champion very fast. 15 fights, but he was never given the opportunity to stay amateur as long. And if he did, he wouldn't have been learning on the job in the pros as someone like Usyk, who's more polished in the professional rankings. Even Tyson Fury's more polished in the professional rankings. And so my point with all that is, do we undervalue here in America the importance of being an amateur and having the amateur experience? Do we go pro too early? And does that hurt us later learning on a job? Even a Devin the Dream Haney, for example, when you look at how he went professional at 17 and was in Mexico learning on a job. But although he was learning on the job at 17, he was competing against guys who had no shot at beating them. But if he was an amateur, he would have been competing against the top amateurs who were going to be the top professionals. Like when he was an amateur, he lost to Ryan Garcia 3 times. There was a reason for that. Ryan was going to grow up to be one of the better pros. But when you become a professional and you're just fighting easy talent just to build your resume, you're not going to be challenged. And so you look at Usyk. Usyk was in there against Sean Porter when he was younger. He was in there against Arthur Beterbiev. He was in there against a lot of dogs who end up going on to become real serious professionals. And you miss those opportunities when you go pro too quick. So that's just a thought, bro. You brought that up. I thought that's very important. And so I get what you're saying. You feel like Shu Shu needs more experience against guys so that he can actually build up the skill to beat someone like Inoue. I'll give the flip side to your point though, bro. If you're Shu Shu and you saw Nery drop Inoue in the last fight, maybe perhaps you feel like you're more talented, more skilled than Luis Nery. So you feel like you can get in that ring and you can actually expose and take advantage of Inoue. Now, of course, it's always easier said than done, and you got to go in there and you got to make it happen. But if you're Shu Shu and you believe in yourself, you feel like you can go in there, you can take advantage of Inoue. So personally, I think you got to take the opportunities when they come. It may not be the best time, but if you're Shu Shu, who's to say you're going to get an opportunity like this again? And yeah, it's not to his advantage. It is to Inoue's advantage because he has the experience. He has the experience in big fights. It's probably going to be in Japan, so he's going to be in his country. Yeah, you got to go with a deck is stacked against you to get that title. But he wouldn't be the first, and he certainly wouldn't be the last. But if he passes up on this opportunity, will it come back around? Will someone else take the fight and dethrone Inoue? You never know. Or will Inoue have different options that are better than Shu Shu by the time Shu Shu thinks that he's ready? Again, will Shu Shu, how long can he make this weight? I mean, you just never know. I get what you're saying, though, in terms of him. Does he have enough experience to take on someone like Inoue? Well, I don't know. But do I think it's a good fight? I do. I think he has a great skill set. I think he's proven himself to be a serious threat. I think he's probably more talented than Luis Nery. I don't know if he punches as hard as Luis Nery or if he has the ability to land that punch, but we'll find out. But I do think it's a good fight. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois on September 21st. At least that's what Eddie Hearn is projecting. We're going to take a look at a tweet from Michael Benson. The source is Talk Sport. So on Talk Sport, Eddie Hearn mapped out a potential plan for the heavyweight division, which he stated Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois for the IBF interim title on September 21st, unless they're going to strip Usyk of the belt prior to the fight, which it looks like that's what they're anticipating, because if you go to the December 21st fight, they're saying that Usyk would be fighting Tyson Fury in the rematch for the WBA, WBC, and WBO. So I guess they're anticipating Usyk being stripped of the IBF and Anthony Joshua and Dubois fighting for the IBF. And then the other plan is that in April or May of 2025, the winners will meet up and fight. So the winner of Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua will link up to fight the winner of Usyk Tyson Fury. Now I know what you're thinking. If the winner is Alexander Usyk, that means he would be fighting Anthony Joshua for a third time or Daniel Dubois for a second time. So Trill Dollar Bill, first, what are your thoughts on Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois? And then the fight plan in general, just the winner of Usyk and Fury going to fight the winner of Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois.
I was actually looking for something. Okay, all right. Our UK brothers and sisters have been giving me crap, bro.
No, I don't believe it.
You know, because they high on the D. And I ain't.
Are they high on the D or are they blinded by the D?
They blinded by the You know what I'm saying? Yo, they see this last victory. They see him going there with the big baby Miller who didn't have that much time. That went in there last minute. They see
out of shape.
Yeah, out of shape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they seen him with the Herbacek guy, and so they losing their mind over the D. You know what I'm saying? Not me. You know what I'm saying? Look, I get it. He had a string of good little fights, but in the Usyk loss, I think made him better. But let me just say that there's no way that he beats an AJ. I think he should be trying to do other things, try to carve out his own path and get better. And while he's doing that, you know what I'm saying? While he's getting better, carve out his own path and become champion that way. Leave the likes of AJ. What, you going to just keep getting beat on till you don't have no senses left? That's what is going to happen. You're just going to keep getting beat on because that's what's going to happen. And I know everybody over there is so excited because they want to have a fight over there in Wembley, and they're so excited for the battle of the bodybuilders. They're like, oh, I want to just see these guys going in. But don't y'all want to see where a guy that you think is going to be a 50-50 fight or something? This ain't a 50-50 fight. This ain't a 60-40 fight. This is 75-25. AJ is going to go out here and demolish him. Everybody's talking about how good Daniel Dubois has been since his loss to Usyk. Have y'all seen what AJ has been doing to people since his loss to Usyk? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like y'all forgetting. Y'all just so blinded by the D. You know what I'm saying? Y'all forgetting about AJ. You know what I'm saying? It's apples and oranges. There's levels to this. AJ will spark this kid out, no problems. He's gonna dance circles around him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to be champion for AJ like this, but it's ridiculous the amount of people saying that Daniel Dubois might take AJ. I'm seeing this. I'm like, y'all. Am I watching the same thing? Am I seeing the same thing? The disrespect for AJ is crazy. The disrespect for AJ is crazy. And it's from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just see this guy get a couple of fights and all of a sudden, oh, he could be AJ. Oh, he got so. Yeah, I agree. He got better since his loss to Usyk, but so did AJ. Did you? I don't know, man. I don't know what the hate is. I just don't know what the hate is. But yeah, this fight happens. AJ stomping a mud hole through him, and he's not even going to celebrate. He's not going to celebrate like the Francis Ngannou fight. He's not going to celebrate because this is what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? This kid don't stand a chance. He don't stand a chance. And I'm sorry. Check out my man AJ's resume. Y'all keep throwing dirt on my man. He got the best resume out of all these heavyweights except for Usyk. And he made Usyk's job so much easier. You know what I'm saying? Because he was out there collecting the rings. Usyk just only had to make one stop. You know what I'm saying? AJ was the man out here collecting all the rings. Put some respect on AJ's name. Stop being so disrespectful just because somebody new came in the picture. Y'all want to forget about, that's what's wrong with y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with y'all. That's how y'all lose out in life. Thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? We done seen it happen. People done left their families and everything thinking the grass is greener on the other side. And knowing that they got something good. Y'all got something good. You know what I'm saying? Stop searching for something else. You got something good at home.
They don't want that Trill. They want the D. They don't want AJ. They want the D.
That's the problem. That's what the problem is, man. But yeah, I got AJ all the way.
Look, you know, it doesn't surprise me, man, because you talk about certain things, right? For example, we were able to see how Deontay Wilder's opponents were carefully selected. We were able to see the flaws in the opponents that Deontay Wilder beat. And we were able to be realistic and say, Deontay Wilder isn't as good as advertised. He probably has solid power in the right hand. He's not the most devastating puncher in boxing history as he was being promoted. And we were able to not fall prey and fall victim to the propaganda. But what happens is when it's reversed, and people in the UK were able to call out Wilder and see Wilder for who he is.
Thanks to the
now they have Daniel Dubois. And as someone on the other side of the pond, as they like to say, as someone from the United States of America, I'm here to tell you that Daniel Dubois isn't as he's being advertised right now. Remember, Daniel Dubois is the dude who took a knee when he was hurt against Joe Joyce and he quit. Daniel Dubois is the dude who got dropped 3 times in the first round against a guy who moved up from cruiserweight named Lorena. And then it looked like Lorena just took a bribe and let Daniel Dubois win that fight. You know, Bricktop Frank went over into that corner and said, hey, if you want to make it out this arena, you better fall down. So Lorena beats Daniel Dubois. Right? Now, then they throw Daniel Dubois in with Gerald Big Baby Miller. Now, here's what you guys don't realize. The ones who are hyping up his victory over Gerald Big Baby Miller. Anthony Joshua was going to fight Gerald Big Baby Miller. And Gerald Big Baby Miller took every drug he can get his hands on. And that's when he tested positive, and then the fight didn't happen. Right? Which led to one of the biggest upsets in boxing history with Ruiz Joshua, because you know there's a huge letdown in that. And Andy Ruiz, let's be honest, is better than Gerald Miller. And we'll get the opportunity to find that out because they're actually fighting each other. So we're going to see that play out, you know. But Gerald Big Baby Miller was suspended. Then, fresh off of his suspension, go look at how Gerald Miller looked in the fights he had before he fought Daniel Dubois. He looked absolutely horrible, and he was extremely overweight. So then he finally got into some decent shape, not great shape, but decent shape. And then they threw Daniel Dubois in there with that. They threw Daniel Dubois in there with a man who was inactive, a man who no longer had the power of the PEDs, and a man who was overweight. And Daniel Dubois was able to win that fight. Kudos to him. Then they threw him in with Philip Hrgovic. Again, I remind you, go back to the day of reckoning. Do you remember who Hrgovic fought on the Day of Reckoning? No, you don't. Do you remember the fight on the Day of Reckoning? Filip Hrgovic had the easiest fight on the Day of Reckoning, and his opponent showed up to fall down and quit. Don't believe me? Go watch it again. So that Filip Hrgovic fights Daniel Dubois. And, bro, you remember you my witness? Mm-hmm. When it was time to pick the fight, I said, I don't believe in Filip Hrgovic. I said, I think Filip Hrgovic hasn't been the same since the beating he took from Zhang. He got the victory, but I don't think he deserved the victory over Zhang. And ever since then, he's been in easy. That's what I said. So, although I do think Filip Hrgovic is a better fighter than Daniel Dubois, he just didn't have the competition to prepare him for grueling rounds against Daniel Dubois. So he gassed out. He got tired of punching Daniel Dubois with his right hand, bro. Go watch the fight again. That's the reason I picked Daniel Dubois, because he's been in there with Usyk. He's been in there. He's been in with tougher competition, so I knew he was going to have the tank. But the Filip Hrgovic problem was he was in there with easy opponents. He was getting out easy and doing whatever, so he wasn't prepared for a tough, grueling fight because it's been a long time since he had one. But if you look at the amount of times Filip Hrgovic caught Daniel Dubois with a right hand, is Filip Hrgovic as fast as AJ? Does he punch as hard as AJ? Come on, man. If it was Deontay Wilder who had the same performance against Filip Hrgovic, you all would be saying he's food for AJ. But because Daniel Dubois is from the UK, some of you think he can actually win. I mean, look, cool. Bet your money. Do whatever. But sometimes when you wake up and realize the truth, it's too late. I just hope that's not too late for y'all, because at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua to me is one of the best heavyweights who's learning on the job. And Daniel Dubois is moved carefully crafted, all that. But Trill, you said this the other day. You said Eddie Hearn was sending out
second string.
His second string. Yeah, there's a good way to put it. Sending out second string. We're going to see now, because the 5v5, Frank Warren may have won all 5 of those fights, but this is the one that counts. This is the one that'll really hurt Eddie. And this is the one that'll really hurt Frank. Let's see who wins this one. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, Deontay Wilder's fiance, Telli Swift, gets a restraining order against him. And we're going to take a look at what is being reported. All right. So Deontay Wilder, actually immediately after his defeat to Zhilei Zhang, reports were released that Deontay Wilder's fiance gets restraining order, claims domestic violence. So this is TMZ Sport. And on TMZ Sport, it says Deontay Wilder's fiance, Telli Swift, just got a temporary restraining order against the star boxer after she claimed he abused her on multiple occasions over the last 6 years. Swift, who began dating Wilder in 2015, applied for the TRO, so that's a temporary restraining order, in Los Angeles late last week. And on Monday, 2 days after Wilder was knocked out in a high-profile match with Zhilei Zhang, a judge granted it. So we don't need to see that knockout. Most of us already saw the knockout. So pardon me, there's some issues with the scroll option here on my computer. All right. So I think this is it right here. All right. Yep. So in the application for the order, Swift accused Wilder of choking her at least 5 times since 2018. She also stated the 38-year-old heavyweight spit on her several other times and claimed he once shoved her face in a pillow in a fit of rage for so long she nearly suffocated. Swift also alleged that back in mid-April, Wilder gained access to her laptop without her consent and sent out disturbing messages to her personal and professional contacts. All right. According to Swift, the abuse didn't stop there. She claimed in the TRO application that Wilder consistently ridiculed her, threatened to destroy her belongings, and expected her to have intercourse with him 3 times a day. Most recently, on April 15th, she claimed he had her thrown out of their Atlanta residence. This despite her being in a fragile state due to recent invasive surgery. I wonder what the surgery was. True, I don't know what you think.
BBL.
BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. Swift, who got engaged to the fighter in 2018, stated she's been living in the couple's LA area home with their 6-year-old daughter since, but claimed Wilder has been using the home surveillance system to spy on her. She added she's worried Wilder could get violent with her when he ultimately made his way back home following his fight with Zhang in Saudi Arabia. All right. Quote, I believe Deontay is capable of being physically violent towards me upon his return in June because he has expressed he is furious with me since April and has been physically abusive with me in the past, she said. So Wilder has not yet filed a response to the allegations. The TRO, which requires Wilder to remain at least 100 yards away from Swift and their daughter, is slated to remain in effect until June 25th, when both parties are expected to appear before the judge. So that's that. Before I turn over to you, Dollar Bill, Big Baby Miller actually posted something stating, I told you, I tried to warn you about her. He basically stated things that we've already heard him say. So I don't want to rehash what Big Baby Miller was saying. I think it would be funnier to hear it from 50 Cent, because 50 Cent kind of told this story to me in a funny way a while ago. So here's 50 Cent talking about basically Deontay Wilder and Big Baby Miller and Telli Swift.
Check this shit out. This weekend I go to this little fitness competition thing in T-Net, right? So I popped in there, check everybody out, and while I'm there, Big Baby shows up. And, you know, Big Baby, big heavyweight fighter, you know, and he seen me come out with Deontay Wilder. So he's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready. I want to fight. And I'm like, okay, now people with Deontay told me that they fought before and they gave him a mild concussion. So I'm like, yo, you sure you want this fight? And he's like, what? Like, he's like, yeah, like I sparred with him mad times before. Yo, Keisha, I'm gonna knock him out. Like, I'm like, okay. So now, when he tell me he's gonna knock him out, I'm like, so what's really going on? I'm like, somebody lying to me, man. Deontay ended up telling me that the boy had a mild concussion, like he put some pain in on that boy, right? Then I run into him and he tell me he's ready for the fight. He said he did spar with him one time after coming back from running, and he was dehydrated and everything, and he went, oh, and then he said the pretty Asian girl that Deontay be with, I'm like, his girl? He said, yeah, his girl. He said, I bust her first. Like, I was fucking her first, and maybe that's why he is acting like he acting. And I'm like, what? This shit just came out of nowhere, blood. Like, it was out of nowhere. For real, this shit just came out of nowhere. And then I'm like, what the fuck? And he go, nah, I was fucking her first. You know, maybe he got it and thought that was something special because, you know, he's a country nigga. Like, we from New York, so shit is different, Phil. And I'm like, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
So I thought it was just funnier to hear from 50 because, you know, he basically said the same thing in the post that he put up, but he's been saying that for the longest time. So, Dollar Bill, what's your reaction to that? The restraining order, the timing of the restraining order, 2 days after Wilder's career basically was ended on, you know, by Zhang. What's your reaction to all this?
Word on the street, while Wilder was getting beat, she was getting beat. That's what I heard on the street.
God. The views and opinions of Trill are his own and have nothing to do with me.
Back-to-back back-to-back weeks. That's crazy.
Oh, you wildin'. All right, go ahead, though.
I ain't even swear.
You ain't swear, but you said
Yeah.
they were getting beat at the same time.
You know what I'm saying? Because word on the street, you know what I'm saying, is, well, women are justifying her act. You know how women are. Women are
hold up.
no,
yo, Trill, just go ahead and do you, brother.
Listen, I'm seeing it from all the ladies on Twitter. All the ladies are justifying her actions by saying, "Oh, y'all wasn't saying nothing when he was sleeping with his brother's girl,
Marcelo.
I wasn't saying that when he was sleeping with his brother's wife. Now she go get some get back, and now he want to beat up all on her and stuff like that." So y'all are excusing the fact that she was out here cheating. You know what I'm saying? Just because he was. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two blacks don't make a white. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
the views and opinions of Trill are his own and only his own. They do not reflect. Go ahead. Or my brother G, who you see on the screen as well. Go ahead.
I'm just cooking. All I'm just trying to say is we knew who she was. Like, everything has groupies. Golf even got groupies. NASCAR even got groupies. She is a boxing groupie. She's been known as a boxing groupie. Big Betty Miller wasn't the only boxer she's been with, but we gave her a pass because Deontay Wilder was going to marry her. He wifed her, and we was like, okay, we ain't going to talk about no man's wife. That was the rule here on Boxing Bros. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to talk about no man's wife. It's off limits. No matter what she used to do, her card is slate. It's wiped clean. You know what I'm saying? We leave all the wives alone on Boxing Bros, you know? But her, I even came to her aid with this Big Baby Miller stuff. I said, everybody got a pass. You know? Everybody got a pass. Give her the benefit of the doubt. But she's showing that, a leopard doesn't change its spots, and she's going back. It looks like she went back to her old behavior. You know what I'm saying? Be careful what you ask for, gentlemen, because you might just get it. You want that girl that's fast and everything and easy and all that? Be careful because you might just get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell my son, I tell him this all the time, and it was about women. I say, yo, listen, son, it's something that's so easy to get. You know what I'm saying? It might not even, you know what I'm saying? Might not even be worth it.
It could be some.
Exactly. You can't get a Telli Swift. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want something, it's just like working for something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody give you a pair of sneakers or something, you're going to go dog them out and drag them in the mud. Like, you go working hard, cutting lawns or whatever it is you're doing to go buy a pair of sneakers, you're going to cherish those sneakers. As a child, you're going to wipe them off every time they get a little dirty. The same things with women. You know what I'm saying? Like, a girl's so easy, so you're not going to respect that. You're going to look at that like it's, you know what I mean? But that's what I would say. This is a lesson here. This is a lesson to all you guys that get a little money and see the little pretty girl that's, you know what I'm saying, that's only for you for that. And you're like, oh, well, I can change her. You know what I'm saying? You can't change her. She is who she is. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Again, the opinions of Trill. Only Trills. Go ahead, Dollar Bill. Keep you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to quote. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm done. I'm done cooking.
Listen. All right, bro. You did some cooking. I was look. I think it's very interesting, right? Things are very interesting, to say the least. You're right. You talk about the way things are viewed and in the way things are said. For me, I just feel like the timing of when all this came out is interesting because it is alleged to have been happening since 2018, but it didn't get reported and it didn't come out until 2 days after Deontay Wilder was stopped by Jang, and it was evident that his career was over at that point. You talk about the last bag, that was probably Deontay Wilder's last bag, right? And then 2 days later, we hear about this restraining order. But it doesn't negate the fact that if what she's reporting is true, then Wilder has done some foul activities that would justify the restraining order. Now, you brought up, Trill, the allegations that she was cheating on him. And if those allegations are true, well, then he wouldn't need to beat her. Even as Pops always used to say, if I had to hit you, I don't need to be with you. So, if that's how he felt, then it's evident he didn't need to be with her. But I wouldn't recommend ever putting your hands on a woman. That's just, especially if you're a fighter or an athlete, that's just career suicide. One. Two, if you're ever in that position, the best thing you can do is just walk out on a woman, walk out and just let it be, because nothing is going to undo what's already been done. So putting your hands on someone, killing someone, whatever the extremes people take it to, it won't undo what's already been done. And you got some people who have like serious egos, and perhaps Deontay Wilder with his ego, the allegations of him getting down with his brother's girl, and then someone doing his girl sets him off because that's ego. That's his ego's wild. I was just watching Ray J. He was on Club Shay Shay, and he was saying how like whatever you do, you gotta in your mind be prepared for like your woman to do it. Or you have to sit there and actually visualize how you would feel if your woman was doing it. So he was actually getting into the psyche of a man and saying like, don't do things you can't handle being done to you. So it's very interesting. And now you have people talking. For me, I'm one who says I don't like to get into people's relationships because I wasn't there and I don't know what was happening. But I will say this: I'm all for women's empowerment. You can't say men's empowerment because then you're a sexist. So how about we call it men's enlightenment, right? Just like Ebony Williams right now is being applauded for saying that she wouldn't date a bus driver unless he owns the bus, but she's currently pregnant because she went to a sperm bank to get in vitro fertilization, right? So now she's pregnant and she's being applauded like for being a single mom, for choosing to be a single mom because she didn't want to deal with a man. Like a lot of you dudes, if you want to have kids, don't have them with a woman. Just go pay to have the kid. So that way, when there's a split up, you can just get the kid and you don't have to pay child support. Because what's happening right now is Deontay Wilder is about to be paying a grip to Telli Swift in child support. And the reason why this is important is you want to make sure you choose the right person. And so, like when Trill was talking about things being easy and everything, I wouldn't say it's necessarily about things being easy. It's about someone wanting you for who you are and not for what you have. And if someone wants you for what you have, then once you don't have it anymore, you don't have them. But if someone wants you for who you are and what you bring to the table, they're always going to want you regardless of what you have. So my thing is you really need to vet carefully when you're someone of high status like Deontay Wilder. You got to vet carefully. And that goes for women as well. Like because you always gonna have those dudes who, you know, leeching off of you and just want you because what you can provide for them. So if you're a successful person in general, regardless of gender, you need to make sure that the person you're with is there for you. And sometimes, unfortunately, because we had this discussion before and people said, oh, what you're saying is wrong. Nah, if you're a celebrity and you got money, you need to be with someone else who got money, because you're automatically eliminating the leech. You're automatically eliminating the possibility that this person just wants me for a come up. And that's just real. And the reality is there's no way for you to know that someone who doesn't have isn't trying to get at you because you do have. So like you gotta vet appropriately. And unfortunately, in today's world, you know, it's hard. It's always been hard, but today's society is even harder because people don't even talk anymore. They swipe. People don't even get to know someone. They just meet them on social media and fly them out. So like, I don't know, but I will say this: I'm hoping for the best for Deontay Wilder and Telli, because they got a kid, man, and what they do just doesn't impact their lives. It impacts that kid's lives. So hopefully they get things done the right way so that their daughter can grow up being you know, emotionally healthy.
Yeah, man, stop beating y'all women, okay? It's all right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Basically, what my brother's trying to say is you got to get to know them. Get in their head before you get in their bed. You know what I'm saying? You got to get to know them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. Let me just because you can hit something doesn't mean you should hit something.
Exactly.
And just because you can get a certain woman, or just because a certain woman may like, you need to get what you need and not necessarily what. And I think that's what people, you look at, like the older, more experienced. Look at Denzel. Who's Denzel married to? Right? LeBron. Who's he married to? His high school sweetheart, right? So you want to make sure that you're vetting properly. I'll just leave it at that. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros: will Gervonta Tank Davis beat Frank Martin? So they're fighting this upcoming Saturday on June 15th on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Trill dollar bill. You seen the build up. You know about Gervonta Davis. You know about Frank the Ghost Martin. Who you got for this fight?
Yeah, I'm going with Tank. I'm rocking with Tank. Shout out to Tank. I haven't bet against Tank, and I ain't gonna start betting against the young brother. You know, shout out to Frank, but I get his age and all that. But like I said before, I think it's too soon for Frank. And I know everybody got, yo, but Trill, his age and stuff. But nah, I got to do with skill. I think he just needs a little bit more time and get in there with a little bit more elite other guys than what he was in there with. His biggest claim to fame was the Rivera dude,
Yeah,
the
Rivera.
Muhammad Ali want to be looking like. You know what I'm saying? That's like his biggest claim to fame. You know what I'm saying?
He's as much as Muhammad Ali is that guy who's walking around with them gloves in the street going like this.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Frank gonna get a round or two in there. Frank gonna do his thing, look good a little bit. But little buddy here, man, Tank just different, man. Tank is different. He hasn't got a chance to go against the real names that everybody wants him to go against. But once he does get a chance, he's gonna be saying the same thing, man. Tank different. You know, young and a beast, man. And yeah, I just don't think Frank can compete with a Tank. You gotta bring somebody else in. So yeah, I'm definitely going Tank.
Look, I'm gonna just say straight out of the gate. I know like Frank is gathering a lot of support, and that's dope. I like that. Keep that same energy though, because when Tank knock out little buddy, right? Don't act like y'all wasn't rooting for him and you didn't think he was nice, because this is what happens. People like to nitpick at Tank's resume, but Tank's resume is actually a lot better than people give him credit for, because he beat Pedraza at a stage in his career where it was early.
Undefeated.
Yep. Pedraza was undefeated, and Pedraza was known as a killer. So you got to give Tank credit for that. Then you look at Issa Pitbull Cruz, and what he's been able to do since his fight with Tank. And you got to understand, Tank took that fight on short notice. So just as much as y'all give Pitbull Cruz credit for fighting Tank on short notice, remember, there was more tape out there on Tank than there was on Pitbull Cruz. It was easier to find out about Tank than it was to find out about Pitbull Cruz. And also, when you see Pitbull Cruz doing what he's doing, you didn't know it was real until you saw him doing it to Tank. So you got to give Tank credit for that. Then you look at Tank fighting Mario Barrios. And you look at Mario Barrios, you can say he was wagering, but he wasn't, because he was winning that fight. Floyd ran to the corner. He pled with Tank. Then Tank went out there and stopped him. Leo Santa Cruz, a guy who's solid fighter, who's been in there.
Three-time world
champion. Stopped him with an uppercut. Like, people downplay Tank's resume. But what's important about Tank's resume is he's not fighting these guys when they're past their prime. He's fighting these young, hungry guys, right? He has some guys where you can say they were old, but look at what Mario Barrios is doing right now.
Yeah.
In Mario Barrios, he's proven to me, at least, and we'll see, because we got a topic on Mario Barrios coming up, but he's proven to me that he was a really good, and he is a really good fighter. So to me, he's proven that that's a great win. That win from Tank is aged like fine wine. The victory over Pitbull Cruz has aged like fine wine. Even his victory over Rolly, as much as people want to dog it, right? Rolly was able to beat Ishmael Barroso. Now, I know some people are going to make it seem like the ref jumped in too early, but whatever. The point is, Rolly had the upper hand in that fight. Rolly was doing his thing in that fight. Ishmael Barroso beat O'Hara Davies, steamrolled him. He ain't steamroll Rolly like that. And I know some of y'all were big on O'Hara Davies. You understand? And O'Hara Davies went in there and he didn't even belong in the same ring as Barroso, the old man. So all I'm saying is you really got to give Tank his props. So those of you picking Frank Martin, remember you picked Frank Martin, because when little buddy gets knocked out, right, I don't want to see y'all here still saying Tank ain't fought nobody, because he knocked out your boy Frank. So I'm picking Tank to stop little buddy. You know, that's my pick for the fight. Let us know what you think. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros: will David Benavidez defeat Oleksandr Gvozdyk? All right, dollar bill, as you know, Benavidez is the co-main to Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's moving up to 175 to challenge Oleksandr Gvozdyk, whose only defeat is to Arthur Beterbiev, but very solid at 175. Ukrainian looking to pull off the upset. What are your thoughts on this fight?
My thoughts on this fight is, way to go, David. Okay? The reason why I say way to go, David, is because this is what I respect. Not sitting around waiting for a payday or waiting for an opportunity for some bread. You want to go out there and prove that you the man. And I respect it and I salute it. Shout out to David Benavidez for not sitting around and waiting for the golden ticket. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to carve his own path. And that's what I like to see. Not off the back of somebody else. He wanted to go do his own thing. And I can respect it. I can respect it. I think this will be dope. And I think that we will see David Benavidez get the victory. I think he got the right opponent. I think his youth and his power will show, and I think he got this victory hands down. I think he might be able to get a late stoppage too.
Yeah, so listen, David Benavidez is moving up to 175. To me, he ducked Morrell, so that's besides the point. I think there was still work for him to do at 168, but he wants to move up to 175. But he is picking on the 37-year-old fighter who was obviously stopped by Arthur Beterbiev. And David Benavidez has turned into one of those fighters who carefully selects his opponents. So remember, he selected Caleb Plant after Caleb Plant was already tenderized by Canelo Alvarez, just like Jaime Munguia selected John Ryder after he was tenderized by Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez did not stop John Ryder. Jaime Munguia did, but when they got in the ring, Canelo just straight battered Jaime Munguia, right? Unfortunately, though, this is a bit different because Canelo stopped Caleb Plant and David Benavidez wasn't able to do that. So, but he was able to win and go to decision. Okay, cool. Now he's moving up to 175. He moves up to 175. He's taking on the guy who hasn't looked the same since he got stopped by Arthur Beterbiev, right? And the guy's 37 years old. So now David Benavidez is going to go up there and he's looking to add a name to his resume and to make a statement. And of course, the Benavidez fans who allow him to fight aging Demetrius Andrade, who got dropped by, I think, like Nichols, someone who wasn't even a top contender and who was already on a decline prior to stepping into the ring with Benavidez. They allow him to beat up on him, and they turn that into a massive victory, right? Canelo laughed at that fight and said, "You just want a payday." Benavidez said, "You know what? This is a good opportunity for me." He fought Demetrius Andrade. Benavidez has been carefully selecting his opponents, and he's getting the hype. He hasn't needs to boogeyman. What he can do in this fight is he can prove something that Devin Haney wasn't able to do, which was that when he fights someone who's at least the same size as him, he can get a victory. Now, he's not the same age; he's a bit older, but he's still the same size as David Benavidez. I honestly think David Benavidez is going to have a tough fight with Gvozdyk, and I think I'm so tempted to pick the upset, but I feel like age and wear and tear is going to play a part in this fight. So when you say late round stoppage, I do think that this fight would be much closer and possibly even a Gvozdyk win if he was younger. But I just feel like the wear and tear, age is going to get to him. So I'm picking Benavidez to edge him out in a probably like 8-4, even 9-3 decision. But I'm going to say this. David Benavidez, to me, he's moving with carefully selected opponents. And all of you who understand the PBC way, you understand the PBC way when it comes to Deontay Wilder, right? You understand the PBC way when it comes to certain fighters, but you don't see it when it comes to David Benavidez. But I'm still holding out hope that Benavidez will step in the ring with Canelo because I want to see Benavidez get. I don't want to see Benavidez get. I want to see his fans get
humbled.
Yeah. There you go. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is another fight that's taking place on June 15th. And it's a big one, especially if you follow the 140-pound division. Will Subriel Matias stop Liam Paro to become a household name? So, Trill, as you know, Subriel Matias is kind of on the cusp of becoming a big name in the sport of boxing. He has the opportunity. Liam Paro, who stopped Montana Love in his last fight, made a statement. Subriel Matias coming off of 5 straight stoppages, making fighters quit. Your thoughts on this fight? How do you see it playing out?
I see it playing out the same way. I see Subriel breaking them down and making them quit in the later rounds. I think he gives up. But I don't think that this will make him a household name. I think that this, because he's a name for the diehards. If you love boxing, if you really in tune with boxing, you know, like you rock with him. You know, he's already a name to you. In order for him to be a household name, he got to get one of these stars in there. One of these guys, one of these not even Teofimo, not even a Teofimo López. I'm talking about he need to get like a star in there with a name. I don't even think Teofimo López is big enough star yet. There's people that don't even know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So he got to get one of these names in here. And that's going to be hard because none of these guys want to smoke. I'm trying to tell you, they're going to try to do. He's going to go to 147 and everything else before he even gets a name. These guys are going to do whatever they can to not fight him, and that's sad. I wish Danny, because I remember when Danny Garcia, right? See, here's the thing. I remember when Danny Garcia was coming up. He was at 140, and who they said was the monster there? Matias.
Oh, Matisse.
Matisse was the monster
Matisse.
there. It was supposed to be the boogeyman, you know. And I remember when you know, he beat Peterson, and everybody looked over at Danny. Everybody was trying to say that Danny was scared. You brought this up on the show before, and Danny was just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This guy is the monster. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna beat him. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. And then he became a huge star. You know what I'm saying? After that, I feel he needs a name. And I don't think that these guys are gonna give him a name. I really don't, man. I really don't. Devin's not getting in there with him. Devin's not getting in there with him. Yo, you know it's bad, right? Hold on. You know it's bad, right? Like you get into boxing, right? You get into boxing to become champion, right? This is what you get into boxing to become. You get into boxing to become champion. Guys get the opportunity to become champion and don't want it. That's how you know this dude's a bad. That's how you know you bad. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no extra bread and you don't want a chance at the belt. You know what I'm saying?
I can't even wear this outside anyway. So.
I can't even put this on jeans. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. They don't want no smoke with this guy. I bet you that these guys duck him till he can't make this weight no more, and he'll be at 147. And he'll be trying to fight at 147 because all the guys are going to go to 154. Yeah, watch. I bet you. He gonna get no smoke. He gonna make around. He ain't gonna be able to make this weight no more. And everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, I would have fought him. I would have fought him." You know
He's never been doing that.
You know
never been fronting like he would fight him.
Then he gonna go to 147. And everybody, I don't want to fight, but now he too big, so I can't even get in there with him. You know what I'm saying? Watch. You know what I'm saying? So poor Subriel Matias, you're not going to become a household name because these guys are scared. You got guys that got a chance to get a belt and unify and be great, and no, they don't want no smoke. But yeah, I got Subriel by stoppage, but he needs one of these names to be a household name.
I agree with you, and I think the people are going to avoid him. But I also think that's what's going to propel him to become a household name. So the sport is different.
A Triple G?
Yeah, the sport is different. Back in the days, the media told you what was hot. The media pushed it. But now you have the YouTube community. And this is what makes the YouTube communities important in the sport of boxing. Because without the YouTube communities, you would only get one perspective. You would only get the media's perspective. for example, ESPN could brainwash you into thinking certain things. PBC could brainwash you into thinking certain things. But when you come here with most channels that are objective and most channels who have integrity, right? They'll tell you the real. So you have some channels who line themselves up with fighters and athletes, and that should be easy to tell. If one channel is always getting interviews from a certain fighter, you know the fighters align with those channels. If one fighter's manager, trainer, or someone is out having dinner with a bunch of channels, you know they align with those channels. If you see certain channels that just keep it real and hold that line, then you can respect what they're saying. And so, like, go ahead, bro. You gonna say something?
No, I just wanted to chime in real fast, and that's why here in the Boston, bro, I'm glad you said that. People always be like, "Yo, why y'all don't interview fighters?" We have plenty of opportunity to interview fighters. Fighters done came out to us. We done, you know what I'm saying, hollered at other fighters. Fighters done hollered at us. But my brother said this one thing is about having integrity, right? Because I see it, and I don't even mean to throw shade at any other channels, but I see it all the time. It's hard for you guys to be objective. Y'all feel a certain way about certain things, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a certain view, whether it be about a guy making weight or something like that. And be like, oh, I don't like guys that don't make weight. You know what I'm saying? So you'll go on a whole rant on you don't like guys that make weight. But then you'll have an interview with a guy who don't make weight, but since you already interviewed him, you can't even keep it a buck. Because you know what I'm saying? You got this, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad we don't do that, man, because I gotta keep it 100. I gotta keep it a buck. I gotta be real for myself, and I gotta be able to walk outside because there's people that actually know me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, brother, salute to you for implementing that and having us do that, man, because I be seeing so many times these guys flip-flop. They feel a certain way about one thing, but they get an interview with this other guy and they gotta kiss butt and they can't be real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You're right. For me, though, it's almost like that stuff doesn't. I don't want to be cool with the fighters, and I don't want to be friends with the fighters. Like, and also your views depend on that. So if you have fighters on and you kiss up to certain fighters or whatever, your views are all based on the fighter. The fighter brings the people to you, but you know, so yeah, you'll get views when you don't have them, but. Like, one, we never did this for views. Two, we never did this for whatever. We never knew where we would end up. We just did this because we love boxing. And then it took off. But here's the thing. Yeah, we don't have fighters on the show, but I know they watch because even Usyk. No, this is a fact. This is a fact.
Now they do.
Even Usyk, when Fury was making this argument for the 730, I came out here, I laid out the numbers, and I broke it down. How Usyk actually sold more units than Fury in the UK and everything. And G got mad at me because remember, the very next day, Alex Krusik was saying the same argument that I made. And G was like, they weren't making this argument until you made it. You said this. And G said it like, I don't even like doing this because I don't like doing either. But this, like, the dude heard everything I said, looked it up and said, he's right. So it does happen. But for me, again, the YouTube channels who keep it $150 are going to say, we want to see Subriel get a fight. So if Subriel stops Paro, right? And Liam Paro is a good fighter. We talk about undefeated, stop Montana Love. People know him in boxing circles. He sparred with Devin Haney. He done beat up a few of these top guys in sparring. So if you know, you know. Just like Ergashev. Ergashev was a good fighter, a really good fighter, and Subriel stopped him, right? So if Subriel stops Paro, a lot of these YouTube channels who have a good, strong following are going to say, yo, Subriel's for real. And the more they stamp Subriel, the more people are going to know about Subriel. So you're right, the diehards in the box community, but the diehards are really the ones who determine what the casuals want to see. So I do think if Subriel stops Paro, then the coverage he's going to get from the YouTube community, especially us, because you can go back and check the tape. We was early on that, on the Subriel. We came to you with Subriel because we were like, hey, why they not calling out this man? Let's talk about this man. You know, it made G mad. He didn't even put Subriel on his 140 on the 200 episode. Man, but yeah, I think Subriel will stop Liam Paro. I think Liam Paro is going to be very competitive early, like from the first 4 rounds, maybe even the first 5 to 6. But I do think the pace, the pressure, and the power of Subriel Matias will break him down. And I do think that Subriel will probably stop him. Probably, I'll say the 10th round. I think he'll stop Liam Paro, but I think it will be a competitive fight for the first, 1 to 6, 1 to 4. But I think Subriel breaks him down. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, we're going to take you way back to a time when you couldn't just stream and record and rewind from your TV. Back to a time when things were live, they were live. And you could only watch one unless you were hood rich and you had a VCR. And then you could record one and watch the other, right? So, Trill Dollar Bill, you could only watch one. Which fight are you most interested in watching on June 15th? Is it Tank versus Frank or Subriel Matias versus Liam Paro?
Tank being one of the faces of boxing, you know what I'm saying? I already know what he's gonna do. I feel like I already know what Tank's gonna do. I'm excited to see that fight, but I already know what he's gonna do. I want to see the Subriel Paro fight. I really want to see what comes of that. I like seeing a new star be born. You know what I'm saying? We already got a star in Tank. We already know what we got. You know what I'm saying? And Youngin. I want to see a new star be born. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to Subriel and Paro. Am I saying his name wrong?
Paro.
You
said
Pyru. Pyru. Homies are gonna hit me up like, yo, Trill, what you talking about? Who you picking over the homies?
No wonder AB's talking about guns at these press conferences. We got Liam Paro out here.
You know what I'm saying? Shoot, and they got him on him. And if I point, they gonna blow. Oh man!
Right. Look, yeah, man. Listen, I'm not as enamored with Frank Martin as some people are. I think little buddy's about to get knocked out. So for me, I think I'm more intrigued to see what David Benavidez does, moving up to 175, seeing if he can still dominate the competition, if he carries his power. And you're right, Tro. For me, Subriel, I want to see, and I think a lot of people want to see what Subriel does against a fighter like Liam Paro, who is very good. We just saw him stop Montana Love. As I told you, in boxing circles, he done gave it to some of your favorite fighters in sparring. Like he done gave them the business, so people know how he gets down. And we want to see what Subriel does with him. I want to see if Subriel is as advertised. I want to see if Subriel is that dude like that. And this fight is going to show that. This fight is going to go a step towards proving that Subriel deserves all the acclaim and he's like that. He deserves what people are saying, right? And if you know Paro, you know that he's a live dog. He's a live dog. Like Subriel's not fighting some easy touch. This ain't an easy touch. He's in there with a dude for real. Just go look at what he did to Montana Love. Like this dude is no slouch. So
had him leaving the fight with a bonnet on. With a bonnet on.
For real. Like this dude is for real. So I think this fight is more competitive than Tank versus Martin to me. Like so I'm more intrigued with this fight, but I am intrigued with the Tank Frank fight. Plus, you got to pay for that fight. We got to pay for the Subriel fight if you think about subscription, but this is on pay-per-view. So I'm glad I get to watch both. But if I could only watch one and then catch one live and then catch the other one next Saturday, like how it used to be back in the day, then I would watch Subriel versus Paro and then see how Tank knocks out Lil Buddy next Saturday. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Ryan Garcia arrested. Yes. So there's footage of Ryan Garcia being taken away in handcuffs. We're going to take a look at that. So here's Ryan Garcia being escorted by the police out of what I believe is the hotel in cuffs. So
another hotel, Ryan.
Yeah. If you want to come to my hotel, maybe I give you my room key. All right. So here's what Michael Benson tweeted about the situation. Ryan Garcia was arrested on suspicion of felony vandalism on Saturday at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Beverly Hills after allegedly causing over $15,000 of damages. Garcia's attorney said police took him to a local hospital for evaluation and treatment. He's since been released. So that's Benson's report on the incident. Trill dollar bill. Yeah, we have to keep on this. We're talking about this because we know people are going to want to hear about this. This is relevant, recent news. So, Dollar Bill, what's your take on this?
I mean, we were just talking about this, man. These kids are privileged nowadays to be privileged. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he need his behind whoop. That's a spanking right there. That's what you need a good spanking right there. Some kids need a spanking. Ryan need a spanking for that. You was taught better manners than that, Ryan. Going in there destroying this stuff. You're losing your mind, Ryan. Okay? The Osterine getting to your head. The lemonade Osterine's getting to your head. You know what I'm saying, Ryan? You're starting to do the wrong things here, Ryan. Come on, Ryan. Wheel it in. You got to tighten up. All right? Tighten it up, Ryan. You're doing too much here. Like, we was just talking about that earlier, bro. Like, when do you ever, as youths, get a hotel? It's like, you know what? I'm going to just throw this TV out this window. You know what I'm saying? It never comes out. Never pops out. Never been in a hotel and like, you know what? I'm just going to fly this TV across this room. Never, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what you was doing in there, Ryan. That's what happens. You see, that's what's problem with you guys. You guys are too busy getting hotel rooms with other guys, and that's why y'all end up messing up the room. No, if you get a nice lady, you're not gonna be wrecking the room up with a nice. I'm just keeping it real, okay, brother? You get nice young lady, you know what I'm saying? You get a nice young lady, you know what I'm saying? She might want to go to Victoria's Secret, get something nice for you, you know what I'm saying? She might want to put something on, put some nice little music on. You know, they got the TV music things going on the app. You put something on like that. She might want to model a little dance for you, put a little show on for you and stuff. That's what you do when you go to the hotel room. You don't go in the hotel room and say, you know what, guys, we gonna play baseball, okay? I'll take a bat and I'm gonna smash this stuff up in this room, okay? Here you go. Here's a vase. I'm gonna throw that and you hit it. Bow. You know what I'm saying? Here's the shower rod, and I'm just gonna take this shower rod. We're gonna use this as the bat, and we're gonna just throw this laptop around, these TV and these lamps and stuff around. This is what you don't do in hotel rooms. You only do this, right, if you're just immature and you're with a bunch of immature young males. You know what I'm saying? This is what I see. You know what I mean? You need to dial it back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the wrong thing at this hotel. I just told you what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Thank me later, okay? You shouldn't be in there wrestling with your homies. You should be in there wrestling with a tenderoni. And that's how I feel.
Oh man, it just reminded me the hotel with Cassidy. That's R. Kelly singing on.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, man, I'm about to go back and listen to that. But that song will tell you, that song that's about a hotel room.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Say what? If you're acting up, then you get her friend. It don't say, then you tear up the hotel with your friends. It don't say that. It don't say that. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot that goes into that. So it is immaturity. Like, it's being immature because, like, why would you want to destroy someone else's property like that? Then you know that you're going to be responsible for the property. So yeah, of course, Ryan Garcia, he just thinks because he has money, it's like, whatever, I'll just pay the money. But there's a stigma attached to it. There's a reputation attached to it. So back when I was in undergrad, G and myself, we used to select artists to come in and do shows. And sometimes we would recommend the artist, and our school would tell us, no, we can't get them. And we would say, why? And they said, we looked into them and they have a reputation for destroying hotels. And we would be like, what? So, and I'm talking about, when you talk about our budget, we use student fees to pay for our spring concert, which was like our biggest concert.
They done had Trey Songz out there, Fat Joe out there, you name it, they had them.
Yeah. We even had Kanye come out. We had 50. Look, here's the thing. Our budget is $200,000 for spring concert. So you're telling us now, it's not like it's our money, it's student fee money. Like any UMass student could go to the concert for free. So we got this money. We looking to book people. We want Lil Wayne. We want this. Lil Wayne was one of the artists we couldn't get because of his reputation. So we want these artists. We're trying to get them. They said, no, you can't get them. Which I was shocked as crap when they said we could get Fat Joe, because I thought they were going to be like, you can't get him. Yeah, you can't get him. But they let us get Fat Joe and they let us get Trey. But that year, Trill, when we had Fat Joe and Trey, we tried to get Wayne. They said no. We tried to get a few other people, but we really wanted Wayne, and they were like, no. And what's crazy is, bro, we had in the room, we had about 6 people who voted to determine who we got. When we said Wayne, it was unanimous. Even dudes who like rock bands and don't really listen to rap, they wanted Wayne too. And they were like, no, you can't get Wayne. And we were just like, so, but yeah, your reputation precedes you. So if you're Ryan and you go to the Waldorf Astoria and you trash that room, now they start looking at all boxers. We don't want no boxers in here. Or we don't want anyone who's affiliated. Then other hotels are going to start saying, we don't want Ryan. So when you come in, you know, you're going to be like, oh, well, they're discriminating against me. No, they're not discriminating against you. You have a reputation for destroying hotels. So it's just bad. In the end, I wish that he had better people around him. Destroying hotels, it's something that rock bands have done. In this new generation of pranking, walking up to people, saying certain things, doing things for clout on social media, it doesn't surprise me. Ryan, who's often labeled as a TikTok star, would have charges like this levied against him, probably doing something crazy for clout and for hype. But in the end, you know, I hope that he gets the right people around him. Or maybe take the Trill approach to kicking back in a hotel. Either way,
what you supposed to really be doing at the hotel? You know what I'm saying?
It's sleeping. What's really supposed to be doing? The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros. Teofimo López implies Ryan Garcia sacrificed his mom for his success. Okay, so yeah, we're going to listen to statements that was made. So, of course, Teofimo López went on, I believe the name of this podcast is called The Danza Project. You may remember this podcast because it seems like when everyone goes on this podcast, they have a hot take. So here's Teofimo López hot take.
That everybody was talking about the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney and the lead up, right? A lot of people said he's crazy. He's talking about the Illuminati and Bohemian Grove and what he saw with the kids. What is your opinion and take on what he was doing there? Was it all for publicity, or do you think there's truth to it as well?
All right, so there was a point in time that Gatorade came in the mix, and they were interested in me or Ryan Garcia. There was just something that I didn't agree with on how Gatorade wanted to do it, more on like on that end. And I just said, no, I'm good. Ryan got the deal the same day. So I was like, oh, so you took it. That Bohemian Grove shit was just the beginning of his end, because they don't kidnap you. You have to be free willing. Remember that. When you give up your soul, whatever the case be, you know, God forgave Ryan and gave him the win. But look what's happening with his mother. She got cancer now. It's a give and take in this world. Remember that. Don't you forget that. And in this world, it's he'll hit you right where you hurt the most. And that's your love, which is your mother. I mean, even Tupac said it, dear mama. There's no greater love than a mother's love. I feel for his mom, and may God put his blessing and miracle in there. And I wish him nothing but the best in him and his family outside of the sport. You know, I could talk more shit about him, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings, you know, and we all got a life outside of this shit. That Bohemian Grove shit, he volunteered.
That's the rule, right? It's like hidden in plain sight.
Hidden in plain sight.
We don't lie to you. We put it right in front of you.
Right in
Let
front
you make the decision yourself.
All right. So you heard what Teofimo Lopez had to say. Ryan Garcia responded on Twitter, and here's what Ryan Garcia said. Ryan Garcia stated, Teofimo really said my mom got breast cancer because I sold my soul. If I see him, there isn't any fight. I will get it back in blood with him. That's what Ryan Garcia had to say. Now you can interpret that how you want to interpret that, but it sounds like he was saying some AB type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then 5 points.
They gonna blow.
So Trill Dollar Bill, man, what's your reaction to all this?
No women, no kids. No women, no kids. When it come into war, no women, no kids. You know what I mean? Like some things are better left. You know what I'm saying? Not said. It's not unsaid. Not said. You know what I'm saying? You talking about homie's mother. Yeah, it's never too good, especially when she just got hit with the breast. And shout out to her. I hope everything goes well. Her thoughts and prayers is out with her. Cancer sucks. F cancer. And you shouldn't have did that. Teofimo Lopez. You shouldn't have did that. That's not right. I don't care what Ryan's doing. There's no way his mother should have caught the stray for that. You were wrong. You was wrong. And if I was Ryan, I'd be the same way. But I wouldn't be tweeting. Yeah. We ain't tweeting. We don't be tweeting over here. Somebody disrespect one of ours like that over here. We don't be tweeting. And I know my brother be trying to act like he ain't street. But but I know him in real life. I know him in real life. And somebody disrespect one of ours like that. You know what I'm saying? We pulling up. We come to see with them things.
Hey,
and when we point, all we got to do is point. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you violated, and you don't get no points for that. That was totally classless, and his brother didn't deserve that. And keep your opinions to yourself. Like the old women in our family used to tell us, like, baby, if you don't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. If you didn't have nothing good to say in that situation about his mother having breast cancer, you shouldn't have said nothing at all. That's just how I feel.
I think a lot of lines have been crossed in boxing lately. It's almost like clout chasing is going to a new level. So you look at Bill Haney saying if Ryan dies, he dies in the ring. Or later he admitted he probably shouldn't have said that, right? Elevated it to another level. I can't remember the fighter, bro. I'm sure you'll remember his name. I think it was Leo Santa Cruz's dad. Someone took a picture with his dad. Oh, there was this one fighter.
Yeah, Gary Russell. He put his arm around him. Yeah.
And that's fine. But the way he posted the picture was like, I can get to you if I want to get to you. And it's kind of like, yo, you don't do that.
That was especially that made everybody turn their back on Gary Russell. He hasn't even gotten a fight since then. I haven't seen him in the ring since then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And him saying all the stuff he said about TC, I thought was funny. It's cool because you talking to TC, you going at TC. Excuse me. I even seen things where people have gone at TC and his family members, and I thought that was out of bounds. Like, yo, leave them be. Like, if you got TC, go at TC. Go at him. You don't have to go at other people in his family. And like, for him to go at Ryan Garcia and his mom at this time, what they're dealing with, again, we're talking about someone being immature, but we're also talking about someone who's made other statements that were very suspect and disrespectful to a lot of communities. And so Tio, I don't know who advises Tio, but I don't know why they would let Tio go on a platform where he speaks so freely. And especially a platform, again, that's known for having hot takes, because Teofimo López is someone who's a professional athlete. He wants sponsorships. He wants this. He wants that. I've just been seeing him say things to hurt his career. That's why when Teofimo López fights, he's not even fighting in like Madison Square Garden, the arena. He's fighting in like the theater. And those of you who like Tio, is cool, but it's a fact. You can just look it up. Bro ain't moving no units. He ain't selling nothing. He's not fighting on pay-per-view because he's alienated a whole group of people. He disrespects the black fighters. He disrespects the Puerto Rican fighters. Now he's disrespecting people with cancer. Now he's saying something that's disgusting about someone's mom who has a life-threatening illness. It's very hard to like a person like that. And you wouldn't like if Adrian Broner was the one saying all these things. You wouldn't excuse AB for saying all these things. So then don't excuse Tio for saying all these things. In the end, like, I used to like Tio. You can run the tape. Like, I had Tio's back. Even when he said he beat Kambosos, I thought he did enough to come back. Had his back. What I see this dude doing now, to me, he's spiraling out of control. And I wonder if he's fine upstairs. And I just hope he has the right people around him, taking care of him, looking into him. Because the stuff he says sometimes, I wonder about the dude. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros. Manny Pacquiao coming back to face Mario Barrios for the WBC title. That's what's being reported. We're going to take a look at the report and then we'll discuss it. So here we go. It's being reported by Michael Benson. States Manny Pacquiao is reportedly considering returning at age 45 to face Mario Barrios. Next potential fight could be for the WBC welterweight world title, as Terrence Crawford has been made champion in recess, according to Shava ESPN. So there you have it. That's the report that Manny Pacquiao is considering coming back out. One of our good friends of the show, Insist Karma, tweeted this upon seeing the news. And this was Manny Pacquiao after his last fight with Yordenis Ugas.
Yo, so, shout out to our sis Karma, man. She petty, but she hilarious as
so you can follow her excellency, man. She funny, man, but she was right on the money with that one. So
she is hilarious. Yo, we gotta have her on the show soon too. You know what I'm saying? She's one of them ones. Go follow her on Twitter. She's one of them ones.
Yes, sir. So, bro, what's your reaction to Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to fight Mario Barrios?
I want to quote Drizzy on this. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Nah, stay retired, Manny. We don't want to see you go out like that. Especially not to Mario Van Peebles. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that to Mario Barros. You know what I'm saying? Mario Barros remind me of dude from Saved by the Bell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Mario Lopez?
Yeah, that's who he remind me of, man. Yeah, you can't lose to the guy by Saved by the Bell. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna happen if you come out of retirement. Because Mario Barrios is a good little fighter. You know what I'm saying? Let Takes tell it. They put him against Barrios to lose. You know? And you see what he did to the guy that beat you. You know what I'm saying? So I just think just leave that alone, man. Leave that alone. You're one of the greats. If anything, you know, set up a little exhibition with you and Money. That will sell. You know what I'm saying? The exhibition with you and Money, that would go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So or even with Marquez. You know what I'm saying? Do one of those, a flashback exhibition. Leave one of these young gunners alone. You know? That's how I feel.
Manny Pacquiao's name has just been floated around. I remember they were saying he was going to come back and fight in the Olympics. I think he didn't get clearance to fight in the Olympics. It seems like fighting is still in Manny Pacquiao's heart, but I wonder why he can't just generate buzz over exhibitions the way that Floyd's been doing it. You have Jake Paul out there. Floyd fought Logan in an exhibition, gave up a lot of weight and whatever, but that still wasn't as dangerous as fighting an actual fighter who trains in the craft at your weight class in a sanctioned bout. I wonder, like Manny Pacquiao versus KSI or something like that, he could probably generate more money and take less risk. I just don't understand why he wants to go at Mario Barrios to me. They've carved out a niche where as an old time fighter who still wants to go in and put on a show, you can do that. So I think there are other fights out there. Jake Paul's probably too big for Manny Pacquiao. But KSI is probably equally as big, but I mean, I don't know. I still rather see him fight those guys than to fight Mario Barrios. I just think you can wear bigger gloves. You can shorten the rounds like Mike Tyson is going to do against Jake. But with Barrios under sanctioned rules and you trying to fight for the WBC title, I get it. You're going after legacy. You're going after history. But it's dangerous. And you saw the picture of him eating porridge after a fight. I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see fighters go out that way. And Mario Barrios, why would you want to collect a 45-year-old Manny Pacquiao's name on your resume? Sure, you get to say you beat a legend, but you didn't beat the best version of Manny Pacquiao. You beat an old Manny Pacquiao who was inactive. And that's the other thing. Manny Pacquiao's 45. He's going to go straight from inactivity to jumping in the ring with Mario Barrios. You're really just trying to sell the name to the fans. And that's what I have an issue with. So I hope this is cap. Yeah, you know, and we don't see it.
Yeah, definitely.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Savannah Marshall gets win in her MMA debut. So Savannah Marshall made her debut in MMA, and we're going to take a look at it, and we'll discuss it. So here we go. This right here is a look at Savannah Marshall, and you see Clarissa Shields right here, cage side observing the fight. So let's take a look. You see Savannah Marshall. She's hooking, punching, hooking, punching. And basically, her opponent isn't returning fire, Vargas. So the ref jumps in, waves it off. And Clarissa Shields is clapping. And they cut the camera to Clarissa Shields, and she is clapping and smiling, and she's happy. And it looked like a pretty solid overall performance. Pretty much what you would expect from a boxer in an MMA cage, standing up, throwing punches, overwhelming their opponent with activity. So this is what Clarissa Shields posted on Instagram. It's a picture of Clarissa Shields with Savannah Marshall. And the caption says, I'm here in Newcastle to watch my frenemy, a.k.a. Op Savannah Marshall, make her MMA pro debut with the PFL to start PFL Europe. A lot is on the line for tonight. Make sure England pop out in support. So this is the picture, and if you go on, then there's a picture of Shields. There's a picture of Shields and Shields at the Newcastle United. And her taking a picture with, I believe, the opponent for Savannah Marshall. So Trill Dollar Bill, what's your reaction to Shields being in Newcastle to see Savannah Marshall make her MMA debut? What was your reaction to Savannah Marshall's MMA debut? And do you want to see Shields and Marshall get it on in the octagon? I'm sorry, the octagon's on UFC. Some of the in the MMA cage.
I thought it was dope that she went out there to support her. I thought that was dope, but I thought that was the setup, MMA fight between them two, because I think that would be huge, and that'd be another way where they can get some money, a cross fight. Why not? We got money in boxing. Let's go out there and get some money in MMA, and then come back to boxing and run it back and get some more money. I don't see why not. She called her frenemy. You know what I'm saying? Because they, they in the business together. They're in business of making money together, and they use their likeness to do it. Why not? These people don't hate each other. They just be trying to see who's better. That's all it be about, competition, and I respect it. Yeah, I would love to see them in there. I thought this was dope. And I would love to see them ladies get in the octagon. Why not? Why not? I love to see them get in, and then I would like to see them come back to boxing and do it again in boxing. But I think it's dope. Why not? Get your money. Get your money. And shout out to the Gwo. Shout out to her. I've been seeing her glow up. She's been having a little glow up. I see you, Clarissa. I see you when they got your baby hairs done. I see you, sister. You know what I mean? Check her out.
All right. Yeah, look. Savannah Marshall, I think she did what you would expect to see from a boxer making their debut. Now, it remains to be seen what her ground game's like against someone who's an actual MMA fighter. What Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, I anticipated being just a stand-up slugfest with the small MMA gloves. I don't know if I really want to see that. I feel like they'll do some serious damage to each other and never be the same. But hey, if that's what they want to do, go right on ahead. But I think Clarissa Shields, you saw she lost in MMA when she was taken to the ground. And Savannah Marshall, I think we'll see what she's made of in MMA when she gets taken to the ground. But if they're going to fight in MMA, you're talking about basically a safer version of a bare knuckle boxing match. Basically, is what you're going to be talking about with them, because I don't think Savannah Marshall is going to try to take Clarissa to the ground. I don't think Clarissa is going to try to take Savannah to the ground. But then again, I could be wrong. Maybe Clarissa wants to show all the hard work she's been doing with John Jones and all the other people in MMA. And so perhaps the first thing Clarissa is going to try to do is take Marshall to the ground. Who knows? I don't know. But if they fight in MMA, I would watch it. But I'd much rather see them fight in a boxing match, because that's what they're both best at. And it would be like watching two professional golfers trying to play a one-on-one in basketball to me. But hey, I'd still watch it.
I heard Tiger Woods had a hell of a shot. You know what I'm saying? 3-point shot. You know what I'm
He
saying?
might, but again, you're not getting that shut off against any of the guards in the league.
You know what I'm saying?
The last topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is the Friday night fight that you all know you watched. Now, you may not have paid for it, but you all know you watched it. I know you watched it. The fire sticks were out in full force. All right. So the last topic we're going to discuss: should AB stand for after boxing in light of Broner's defeat to Blair Cobbs? Shrill Dollar Bill. Your reaction, whatever you got to say, the floor is yours.
Look, everybody know AB my man. You know, AB my man. And I stand with AB win or lose. You know, what type of person would I be to jump ship? You know, I always stuck with my fighters to the end, even when it was too long. You know, stuck with all my fighters from Zab to Fernando Vargas, no matter what, even if they take an L. You see, Canelo's still my man. He done took an L. You know what I'm saying? I stick with my guys. Like I still want to see Adrian Broner do well. You know, I'm gonna get to that reason why. But as far as his performance, it was just good to see him in there. You know, it's been a while since I see AB. You know, I know we all got the critiques of him, or we always want for him. Even that night, I was aggravated because I wish I could jump in the screen and fight for the homie. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't. Only AB can fight for himself. You know, but I'll still root for him no matter what. People was like, "Yo, it's the time for AB to retire. It's time for AB to retire." Look, AB came off of a longest uh, training camp, you know, and he was only with Calvin and them for uh, 6 weeks, not even that. And the whole time he was there, he was getting weight off, and he still looked good. And he hurt himself. He got hurt, fractured his arm and everything. In the second round, it still showed y'all the heart, and still fought through all that, and showed y'all the heart. Um, People say, Trill, your man needs to retire. And I was like, you know what? I thought about it and I said, yeah, you know, AB has seen better days, you know what I'm saying? But then there was something in me that was like, no, I want to see him fight. Even if it's not on this type of level, I want to see him continue to fight because I realized something about AB. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's not fighting, he's bad to himself. And something bad, I feel like something bad will happen to a fighter or a person like AB if he's not fighting. I feel like when he's fighting and when he's in camp, that's the best AB. He's not drinking, he's sober, he's fit, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. So that's why when people were saying, oh, he should retire, Trill, I understand what y'all was saying. But then another flip side, it was like, nah, because every time he stops boxing, we see what happens. And then we see what happens when he is boxing. And I'd rather him be boxing and being around the positivity than not boxing and being around negativity and it being detrimental to him and his family and his life. So yeah, I didn't mean to turn this into this Dr. Trill episode. I was just looking at what I seen from the outside looking in. Look, I wish Broner the best. You know what I'm saying? I really do. Like I wish all fighters, anybody that step in that square circle, I wish them the best. You know what I'm saying? And I know how it is being a fighter and what it is the situations with money and certain stuff like that. Um, so telling the fighter that, you know, he need to retire when we don't know his finances and we don't know if this is the only thing he can do to generate income is it's a little bit sometimes it's a little bit harsh, you know. But yeah, AB man, it was a tough loss. I wish it was more rounds. It seemed like he was coming on, even though he was hurt. He had a fracture that they reporting and everything for when he went down. But yeah, before I get out of here, I'm gonna use AB's words against AB. Yeah, and because this is what told you, this is what happened this is what happened last Friday. AB said this: boxing is like a woman. If you don't treat her right, she's gonna go off with the next one. And this is where AB should have took his own advice, because it is so true. Boxing is like a woman. If you don't take care of it and you don't treat it right, it'll leave you and go off to the next superstar. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it did, because AB was once what we thought was going to be the future. Maybe he did it too fast, and he's still going to be a Hall of Famer in my book. You know what I'm saying? 4-time world champion in 4 different weight classes at 23, the youngest to do it. We haven't seen it yet. And some of your favorite fighters don't even got 4 belts in 4 different weight classes. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely going to be in the books. He's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, man, I wish him the best. I wish him the best. And whatever he decides to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for you, man. And I hope, you make some good choices, and, and everything ends up all right. I don't want to be a cautionary tale. We hear something, you know what I mean? Something bad and negative. But salute to you, AB, man. You gave me a lot of thrills. You made me laugh, gave me a lot of smiles, and brought a lot of excitement and joy watching you, my brother. So peace to you, whatever you want to do.
AB. Look, I really have no feelings for the guy. And for me, he can leave boxing and it makes no difference. He can stay in boxing, and I just predict it's going to be more of the same, because you can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself. And you can lie to everyone, but the results are going to show. In the end, you will be found out. So if you actually are someone who's working hard and you're trying, it will show. It will show without you even saying, right? So AB says all the time he's back to boxing. He said this so many times, and I wanted to see him. I think it was like Santiago was the last straw for me. I'm like, I'm rooting for AB. I want to see AB get back. And then he goes in there, and I feel like he lost the fight. They gave it to AB. And AB's not letting his hands go. I do think something happened to AB in the Madonna fight that psychologically made him afraid to let his hands go. I thought AB showed tremendous heart in the fight with Medina, but he turned into a meme. And of course, that was based on the way he was behaving prior to that fight. So he didn't do himself any favors with his behavior, like ripping money, flushing it down the toilet, doing a lot of bravado. I think at some point he forgot what got him to the status he was at. You bring up him being a 4-time division champion. That came from hard work. That came from training. That came from hunger. But when he didn't have that hunger anymore, and once he started getting all the acclaim and accolades, he cared more about that than actually training. He cared more about that than being in the ring. He cared more about his persona than actually the outcome of his fights, which Floyd Mayweather was something different. Although he idolized Floyd, Floyd created a persona to make money, but he also trained like he never made a dime. Like everyone who knows Floyd said that he trained like he's the brokest fighter, because he knew that everyone was going to come to try to beat him and take what he had. And I think Broner, a guy who came from nothing, once he got a taste of it, once he got a little bit, he was content and he was satisfied. And then I also think he lacked the accountability to see when he was slipping, when he wasn't as good, when fighters who shouldn't have been able to be in the same ring with him were starting to compete with him. I think he wasn't realizing like, oh man, I got to get back to training hard. He was just like, I can still out talent these guys. I can still, outwit these guys and outthink these guys. And maybe with the lower level fighters, but then You got to look at the fact that he was being thrown in with the best fighters. He was on pay-per-view before a lot of these guys. He was on pay-per-view before Thurman. He was on pay-per-view before Danny Garcia. He was on pay-per-view. He was on pay-per-view fighting real fighters. He was on pay-per-view fighting Manny Pacquiao. He was on pay-per-view fighting Sean Porter. He was in there fighting real tough fights, right? And of course, because of his ability to sell the fights. But what ended up happening was he was losing the fights, and then people just started to see him as a joke. He was dealing with his addiction to alcohol and other things outside of boxing that was diminishing his ability to perform in the ring, right? And the reason why I think people are telling Adrian Broner to retire isn't because you don't want to see Adrian Broner or you don't want to see him be successful, because I would have rather see AB win that fight than Blair Cobbs. There's so much more that could have been done with AB winning that fight. But my thing is, I got to be honest with myself. I can't want it more for AB than he wants it for himself. When I saw AB show up and he had like the gut, and Blair was like, "You're fat right now," and AB was like, "Oh, don't worry about any of that." And then he showed up to the last press conference and he took his shirt off. I'm like, great. You're in shape now to make weight, but are you in shape to win the fight now? You did everything you had to do to get the weight off, right? But now are you going to have enough left to win the fight? That's what I was thinking. And so Trill said he wished there were more rounds. And you see that once Blair slowed down and AB could get his shots off, he was able to take some rounds. But if he was able to actually train, if he actually kept himself in shape, if he actually did those things, he would have been able to do that stuff from round one. So for AB to continue boxing, you're asking me, do I trust Adrian Broner to take boxing seriously enough to put in the road work, to show up and train, to put down the bottle, to do all these things? He's shown me every fight since Marcos Medina he can. So now it's up to him to change. It's not up to me to change. It's up to Adrian Broner to change my perception of him. You understand? That's where, so Trill, when people say Adrian Broner needs to retire, they're saying that based on what he's shown them over the years. Now, if AB goes out and he just starts training, he just starts running, he just starts putting in the miles. If I'll put you like this, if AB's in shape 3 months from now with a six-pack, that'll go a long way. If AB shows up from the first post-fight press conference, basically close to being on weight, that'll go a long way. But what's happening now is everyone sees AB showing up 35, 40 pounds, and not even a good, like, you know, it's like overweight. And they're like, yo, there's no way I can rock with this guy. So if he's not going to dedicate himself, if he's not going to really put in the work, he should retire, because at this point, he's going to have to, I feel like he's going to have to fight on the undercard now. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to fight on the undercard. He's going to have to look good on the undercard for people to say that they're even interested in AB again. His days of headlining are over. And let's be honest, he was headlining a High School Musical, the Don King production.
No, I agree. I agree where he should retire. I'm just fearful of what happens when he retires.
I'm not saying he needs to retire, because you know my stance on it. I don't tell fighters when to retire. I think you know when you should retire. And for me, if he's not going to dedicate himself to the sport, he needs to retire. Like, I don't have no fights. I don't fight. I still run. I still do the miles. You don't have any fights. You still run. You still do the back. Like, there's certain things you can do. You understand? Like, if you're about it, you're about it. If it's in you, it's in you. Floyd don't really have no real fights. He still run. He's still in shape. When you see Floyd, you get what I'm saying? Like Manny Pacquiao, you still see Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's in that in-between phase, right? Manny Pacquiao's in that stage where he's not in his prime anymore, but he's still good enough that he's better than the average dude. So when he's in the gym and people see Manny, they're like, "Oh man, you still got it, Manny. Manny, you still that dude," because he's so much better than the average person. So he still don't realize, like, I can't go in there with these guys and still beat them, but I'm better than average. Like he's in that mode, but he still got it, you know. And I think AB beat himself. You know, the biggest opponent AB had in his career was himself. And that's unfortunate. And I think that's what's tough to take. But again, you can't want something for a fighter more than he wants it for himself. Would the old AB have dismantled Blair Cobbs easily? Absolutely. The AB who fought DeMarco would have steamrolled Blair Cobbs. Blair Cobbs isn't really that good of a fighter. He was fit. He was in shape. And he was able to throw more punches for the course of really 8 rounds than Adrian Broner. And by the time he got tired, there wasn't enough left on the clock for AB to take advantage. And that's really what happened. So for me, I think when it comes to AB, I think if he's going to give it one last try, give it one last try. Really go for it. Like, forget the games, forget the hype. Forget selling. Fight on someone's undercard, like a big undercard. Fight on Tank's undercard.
Tank's next
Fight
fight.
on Tank's undercard. Stay with the team. Heal up and say, look, I'm giving this. Tank already loves AB. Tank told Calvin already. Coach Calvin said, do this for me. Look out for my boy. So, you know, if you're going to do it, do it. But remember, bro, I told you this, and I'm going to close with this. Like, when you change, you don't have to tell people you change. They're just going to see it. They just gonna know, like, you don't have to be around people and keep saying I'm different, or whatever. They're gonna be around you and be like, yo, this is not the same person that I once knew. AB is the same dude who he's always been. You can just, you know, yo, when he changes, if he changes, you'll know. But if he doesn't change, some people just are who they are, and that's fine too. So that's my take.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. Thank you for rocking with the Boxing Bros, where we give you our unbiased opinion on the greatest sport ever. That is boxing. I am the commissioner, Trill Dollar Bill. That's my brother, Caden. You know what it is. It's LLG for life. We are the Boxing Bros. Thank you for rocking with us. You already know what it is.